Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We only need three.
All right, go ahead.
We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have
I'm good, you guys.
we have one guest that hurt her shoulder is not able to come today. That was from the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission, so we'll reschedule them to come on a later date, and Deborah, Deb Easterbrook, our secretary, will let them know. So we have Linda filling in for Deb tonight because she is really sick and coughing and not in good shape. So the first, we have to accept last month's minutes. Have you read them? And I would entertain a motion to accept if you're all set on them.
I move to accept the minutes as printed.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So our second guest is John Briere, and we're real happy to have you here again. And you have the floor.
All right. There's actually the primary reason why is to discuss APR land. But before I get do that, I just want to give you an update on the town website. We did add the Agricultural Commission to the town website under the departments. I do have your minutes and agendas feeding your page automatically, as well as your videos. So if anyone goes to the town website, goes under the town departments, goes to Agricultural Commission, they'll see the beautiful letterhead that Linda had designed, that is now there on the page, as well as your minutes and agendas. You do have the ability to get your own user ID and password if you would like, so that you can add your own documents. Right now, I've added your minutes and your agendas as Deb sends them. I add them onto the website. But if you ever wanted to do postings on the front page of the website, being an official board, you have that ability. So think about it. If you'd like a user ID and password, I'll get that set up for you, and then I'll arrange to do a quick one-on-one training with whoever you designate that you want to update the town website. All right?
Okay, thank you. So from now on, should our secretary put them on? Or?
It's no issue whatsoever. As long as I get copied on it, I can change it to a PDF and upload it. It's no inconvenience for me to do that. But if you want some added flexibility to whether it's about Dudley Farm Days or some initiative you've got going on, to have that ability to have one of your own members do that and not have to filter it through anybody, you have the ability to do that.
Okay, thank you.
All right. But the primary reason why I'm here is to talk about APR land. I am not an expert by far, and I'm still learning about APR land. But I've been in touch with Mass Department of Agricultural Resources because there is the possibility of a farm or two coming up for the town's consideration for the APR program. And I've had a great education on APR and some of the steps that we've done in Dudley so far and how that affects what the contribution is for APR, right? So for those at home that don't know, APR is agriculturally protected land. Basically, a farmer keeps the farm but sells the development rights. And so someone that might have 40 or 50 acres, instead of turning it into 200 homes or 100 homes and having $26,000 a year per student added to the tax rolls and all these other overhead, the farmer basically sells the development rights to keep it permanently protected as agricultural. And it's worth it for a town to do that because they're not making land anymore. Prime pasture land and farmland is hard to find, and it's just going to become more and more valuable down the road, and it helps keep that feel, the aesthetic that people are looking for in Dudley, you know, with the trees and the farmland and things like that. So in the past, well, traditionally how the state works it is, let's just say the state you're a farmer and you want to put your land into APR. The state might come up with a value for the development rights for your land of, say, $100,000. The guidelines state that the state will pay 80% of that, and then the town has to pay the other 20% to the farmer. If the town doesn't pay that other 20%, the farmer gets 20% less and has to decide whether or not they want to go for it, right? So does that make sense so far?
I never knew that, though.
Yeah.
As somebody
So the
who owns an
guideline
APR
is,
farm.
so if it's a $200,000 value, right, the state comes up with 80% of that, and the town would be responsible for 40,000 of that. Now, because Dudley adopted the right to farm bylaw, the state increases that 80% up to 85% and decreases the town's 20% down to 15%. All right? Now, because not only did Dudley approve the right to farm bylaw, but we actually approved your creation as the Agricultural Commission, the state now will come up with 90% of the funding, and the town of Dudley is only responsible for 10% of that funding. So on a $100,000 piece, now the state is going to actually guarantee that farmer $90,000, and then the town has to come up with the other $10,000. Well, what I'm proposing for you tonight, and I'd like to handhold this right through the Board of Selectmen with your blessing and a formal vote, is this little piece of paper here. It's as simple as it gets. It's called a Town of Dudley APR Land Certification. And all it says is that I, the landowner, swear that the property located at whatever that address is in the Town of Dudley is either enrolled in the APR program and is subject to its uses, restrictions, and regulations, or it's not enrolled. And all we have to do is include this piece of paper with any land permit process in the town. So if if someone's applying at the ZBA for a permit, as part of the ZBA package for the special permit, they would just have to include the simple form, the APR. Is the land APR or not? If they go to the planning board, right, the planning board would just have to simply include this piece of paper in their planning board application. If I go for a building permit, the building inspector simply would make sure that this is part of that package. And for doing that, the state will now come up with 95%. They give us another 5% towards APR land. And so now you're taking that $100,000 piece of land, now the state is going to guarantee that farmer 95% of that value, and then the town only has to come up with 5%. So to me, it's free money. And I think it's a great investment for the town that, the same way when we go to town meetings and we ask for $5,000 or $10,000 every town meeting for the preservation of historical documents, I think we should be asking the town for $5,000 or $10,000 every town meeting to put into an APR land bank, so that when those farms do come up, the town's not scrambling for money. It has a little bit of bank. The Ag Commission can decide, okay, is this piece agriculturally significant to the town? Is it worth having the town to have that first right of refusal? And if so, be able to then work with the Board of Selectmen, to actually have the money in an APR land bank. But this is free money to do this certification. So what it basically guarantees is another 5% that the state comes up with and 5% less for the town to come up with when someone offers up their land for APR. Did that make any sense? Any questions?
I kind of got, I missed, I don't know, I just had a brain freeze here for a second. This land, when you go to like the planning board or the ZBA, why are they going to those boards that they need to have this certification?
Okay, so the reason why the state is willing to come up with 5% more is because the state has no process or safeguards or checks and balances in place for all this APR land they've got across the Commonwealth.
This is sort of policing for this.
It's more of a notification to the state. So what'll happen is that if someone's land comes up for the planning board and it's APR land, the state would just want a heads up that, oh, it's APR land, that this piece is come up. Because they have so much land in the APR program, they don't know what's happening because nobody's communicating with them from the various towns across the Commonwealth. So they're looking for.
So if it's already in APR,
Yep,
why would an individual need to go to a planning board or something?
because maybe they're trying to hide that it is an APR and still trying to get a permit to do something they
Okay,
shouldn't be
so
doing.
So it just polices what they're doing on the APR property?
Yeah, it allows the
Okay,
state
I
to make sure
understand
that
now.
they're following the rules and regulations of the APR land.
Well, APR owners can do certain things.
Yep.
You can make farm roads,
Every
but you
contract.
may have to go to get a permit to do that.
Okay, I was just trying
Yeah,
to
no,
make
but
sure
what
I'm
I'm
clear.
saying is, they evidently don't have any way to find out what's going on, I guess.
Yeah,
Okay,
They come to visit us. I know they came to my farm and made this very fancy glossy folder that I don't know how much it cost.
yeah.
But anyway, took pictures and stuff. But one question I have, what else does the town get right of first refusal? Because when I signed a document, the state has right of first refusal
Yeah,
on my program anyway.
and again, this is where I'm still
See, that's
learning.
why I thought somebody was coming tonight that we could ask them these questions about. But, so we need to get someone sometime to come in here, because we need to know these things.
Yeah, and I could ask, the person that I've been dealing with,
Yeah,
if they're willing to come in and actually talk in detail about the APR land. Because, what I'm still trying to figure out is, I know because I haven't been on the planning board and stuff, that it's worth preserving this farmland, because once you get a development in there, the town's always usually in the red for the cost of maintaining the roads and the school system and everything else, right? I mean, you look at that education bill that just passed, they're estimating that, they're gonna be spending $26,000 per student in the state, right? So, you have 40 homes go in, and let's just say each one has a kid there, that's $1 million extra in school
expenses. Not one
expenses.
of those homes is gonna generate $25,000 of tax revenue.
No, maybe
So-
80,000 between the 40 homes at or the 20 homes at, $4,000 a house. So, I see the benefit financially on the long term, but most people want an immediate benefit. Okay, so let's just say someone comes up and wants the town to do the APR land and wants a $5,000 contribution from the town. People can say, well, what's in it for us? Well, you can say, yeah, well, they're not gonna develop the land. That's not gonna be good enough for folks. So, what are the other incentives that a town has for helping pony up money to make sure land's in agricultural, preservation?
So I guess one question I would have is, what is the benefit to the town financially, I guess? We would pay less when one goes through, instead of 10%, 5%, correct?
Exactly. Right now, the town's at
And
10%.
would the town have right of first refusal on it?
My understanding, and again,
Okay.
is that the state has a right of first refusal, but then if the state declines that, my understanding is that the town then has the next right.
I
But-
would believe that's what it is,
But we
And
could,
then like I emailed you, I was wondering, has the town ever contributed to any of the land in town?
No.
I have not been able to get definitive answer on any of, no one,
I
no
was
one.
gonna ask, what have they done historically?
I don't believe anybody, the town has ever come up with any money for any agriculture.
Yeah. So,
So the landowner's taking less every time because the town.
yeah,
I would,
Kicked in.
well, I believe the system that they've just come up with is fairly recent too. Before
is.
they used to they just paid out the 100% and that was it.
Right.
State.
The state did, right, but now,
Okay.
I'd say this is within, maybe the last 5 years, they've started,
Incrementally.
incremental pricing, so it's really, and I don't know, in that time period, if there's any properties in Dudley that have been, sold the development rights to the state, where they needed to worry about that situation. I know, like you said, I know there's a couple coming out,
yeah.
so,
And my understanding, is that the state is trying to become a little bit more competitive, that they may have been a little chintzy to some of the farmers in the past with that 100%. So it may be, they may have changed it, instead of being given 100%, it's 80% of a little bit more now. But having the right to farm bylaw, having the ag
Well,
commission.
it's still just a regular appraisal that they get. They go
Yeah.
by that appraisal.
Yeah. I know the one that they're looking at now is coming in somewhere around 180. So if the town, the town would have to try to come up with, 9,000? To make the farmer 100% whole on that. But but if you vote for this and then the Board of Selectmen make it a part of the package, the farmer's guaranteed 95% instead of the 90%. And if we didn't have the Ag Commission or the right to farm bylaw, the farmer would only get 80%.
Right.
So it's nice to see the actions that the townspeople had approved and supported so overwhelmingly now starting to financially pay off with incentives like this. So it's pretty simple. So what I'm asking is, because it is APR land and it is the Agricultural Commission, I figured I'd come to you first.
So are you just looking for a vote from us to go to the selectmen saying that we approve of this?
Yeah,
No.
that you support this.
Okay.
And that way I can then go to
Because
the
it
board.
would have to go to the selectmen.
Well, it'll have to go to the Board of Selectmen to authorize the other departments, because like the building department rolls up to them. Even though ZBA, I think, is elected and planning board is elected, through the selectmen's office, since they really are the core
Right.
regulatory body, and the
We
town
wouldn't be able to
administrator.
make a motion saying they need to do this to us.
No,
No.
no, you don't have that authority. Yeah.
So I guess my concern would be that it goes through the selectmen. And my other concern was, I had written down from the email, I was wondering what our responsibilities are. In other words, this would come to us from the other boards?
That's to be determined, and my suggestion would be that if something does come through, that they do send it to your board, and that way you could actually just keep a file of all these APR pieces, and I can find out from the state, what they would like done with this.
I'd like a chance to talk to some other ag commissions in Mass who have done this. Are there some that have done this?
I don't.
I'm sure there are.
And I'd like to find out, how it's working for them. I just would be concerned, and I'd like also for like our attorney to look over what our responsibilities might be, getting a document, a sworn document from a landowner, and if we're holding it, I would just like to know what our responsibilities would be.
Okay, and technically, when I was working with the state on that, the requirement is that the town has a process to flag APR land during the permitting process. And it was my suggestion, well, if I just came up with a one piece and had the landowner say if it was APR or not, would that suffice? And they said, absolutely.
So what you would do is you would send this to all the APR owners and ask them to sign it and send
Nope.
it back, and
No,
then,
only if they apply for a permit.
No,
Only if they if they come for a permit.
yeah, only if they go for a permit. So let's just say you were going
so
for.
so like the planning board says, John Smith, you have APR property, we need you to sign this.
Nope, nope.
So that's where I'm.
All right, let's go for a building permit.
Okay.
You want to go for a building permit, you want to build a deck, whatever it might be. You're going to go, they're going to give you a package of paperwork that you have to fill out. This would just be one form in there. And I, as the homeowner, would say, oh, my home's not an APR, so I'd just say, I'm not enrolled in the APR program.
Okay.
If I was a farm, I'd say, yep, I'm enrolled. It would probably have no effect on the deck, right? Because, as you said, APR.
Most of the houses aren't on the program.
Exactly. So if it was the planning board, right, we have the subdivision rules and regulations. So someone comes in and proposes a 200-home subdivision on a 40-acre parcel of land. Well, there's a package that they have to fill out.
All right, so
That's
this
in
would be part of the permitting process.
Exactly.
Is that what
It's
you're-
just
that's what you're
an
saying?
added form in it.
Okay, all right, I understand
All
now.
right? As long as we have the form in the process, we're covered for the 5%. All right?
Oh, okay, I
And-
understand.
And what I would ask is, I know there's, a lot of questions like with the lawyers and you want town council, the selectmen will do all that.
Right, so, in other words, I don't really see the Ag Commission holding these, filing them. I would think it would be with other permit filings and things.
Well, each board, that's gonna be their responsibility, it's not gonna be our,
Right,
we would
but-
be just here saying that this is a good thing, and we approve that this is gonna
Yeah,
happen.
and that's all I'm looking for, is because, I'd like to be able to go to the Board of Selectmen to their next meeting and say, hey, if we do this, the state's gonna come up with another 5% for our farmers. If we
Oh, yeah.
don't, they're not. And I'd like to be able to tell them that that I went before the Ag Commission, and the Ag Commission supports us doing this, with the state. As far as what the final implementation looks like, I would leave that to the town administrator and the Board of Selectmen.
I highlighted where it said, we need to be notified.
Yeah, I put that in there because I thought you'd want to be, but
Right,
right now, there is none.
right.
Now, if you decide that you would like a copy of this, so let's just say the Board of Selectmen approve this and leave it up to,
Right.
John to come up with the actual process, I would think you guys would want to know
Yeah.
what's going on with the
absolutely.
different APR land in town. But then again, maybe not.
Well, or the board could come to us and say, well, we've got this
Yeah.
application on the APR property, does the Ag Board
Yeah.
feel this is a good idea or not?
Yeah,
I
So,
think it would be a good idea
um,
for us to have a copy of it kept somewhere.
I can't hear you.
I said, I think it would be a good idea if we did get a copy of it.
Right, right.
yeah, so I guess, what the motion I'd be looking for is, you don't necessarily have to approve this form. But if I could get a motion that the Ag Commission supports the town establishing a process for APR land and notification for permits, that would be fine.
I just want to make it also just another comment. You said that, this would bump everything up to 95% reimbursement.
Yep.
And suppose, say, the town says, well, we don't want to pay the 5%. I'm just saying that, as being president of the land trust also, the land trust could come up with that 5%. We could fundraise for that 5%
Yeah.
or take it or whatever. So that's just another option other than the town coming up with the 5%. Okay?
And I do have a
I'm
question.
not saying that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Don't let the town know.
Yeah.
But one of the things I had thought about is, and kind of go off tangent, but if someone is going to put land into an APR program and you're a farmer, and let's say you're considering about doing this, is it possible to throw an acre or two to the side for like community farming for the town? Or is there too much of a liability issue on that?
Yeah, we looked into that some years ago, and we got a place from Audubon down at Pierpont Meadows, a little section over there, but we went to try and get the insurance for a community garden. As a nonprofit, we couldn't get insurance, liability insurance for a
Okay.
community garden. Town might be a different issue if it's town property, but
Yeah.
for an individual, it's kind of difficult. For some reason, insurance companies don't want to insure community gardens. I don't know why that was, but,
Someone sticks a pitchfork in their foot.
well, whatever,
Like,
or, I don't know.
It's
I don't know what their reason, but
Yeah.
they wouldn't allow us to have.
All right.
They
Well-
wouldn't give us insurance.
It would be up to the farmer who got the APR approval. I don't think it would be written, well, it could be written in the contract that the town would get, a spot for
Or just sort of
community
some.
gardening. But that
Yeah.
would have to be in the APR agreement.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would be the farmer that could do that,
Yeah.
obviously. They do. But that would have to be in the agreement. I don't know how that would all work.
Yeah.
We also, as a Ag Commission, I think, should definitely get someone from the APR program in here, and so that people on television or can come if we announce that they're gonna be here, so that landowners know more what's going on, because the program has changed a lot over the years. You know, it always used to be the 100%, I believe.
Yeah,
And
like I said,
the town had a chance to contribute to get right of first refusal. I know that was the case of mine, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago or whatever. But we need to be updated so that if someone comes and is going to purchase some land and purchase that land with an APR program, you know, we would like to be able to have someone that we can send them to, or they might ask us questions, so we should be filled in on it. So, in other words, I see our Ag Commission helping the farmer, working through the APR. The state needs us to help them, that's fine, but our main mission is helping the farmers and keeping Dudley a right to farm town. So I want to be able to work on both sides.
Yep.
I kind of wish there was an Ag Commission back when I did mine, because I would have gone to them on some issues.
Yeah, but this is just an added incentive for people to put their land into APR. Instead of getting the 90%, now it's set up to
Absolutely.
95%.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
so,
just better for the individual.
so for those farmers that are considering or working with the state right now, by you giving an affirmative vote for, yes, let's establish the process, and then I go to the Board of Selectmen, you're earning them 5% more just by that vote. So on a $100,000 piece, you're giving them $5,000 more, guaranteed. $200,000 piece, it's $10,000. You know, so it's definitely in the farmer's interest to do it. Also, you know, it would have been nice to, you know, when I was on the planning board, to be able to go, as you're going through the subdivision package, there's always the question, is the land in APR or not? And you're kind of trying to dig it. You know, usually you have to rely upon a member on the board who's got that experience. Having it, okay, this is APR, so this changes things on this subdivision plan or whatever it might be.
You can find that out, of course.
Yes, but it takes work and time to do that, where if I've got a form right in front of me as part of the application package, I don't even have to.
Because
work.
you need to find out they would need to find out whether it was 61A also.
Yep, but I didn't want to go there because all the state's asking for is just to flag the APR.
Yeah.
And that's all we'll do. Didn't want to overcomplicate things.
I still would like to know our responsibilities. Would we be the one that would have to notify the state?
No.
Right now, there is no responsibility. As long as there is a process to identify APR land during the permitting process.
But it's not going to help the state unless they actually see this paper.
You know, and John Ruda, the town administrator, can work out the process and procedure with the Board of Selectmen. And if you want to be CC'd on it, something, let them know. Otherwise, it'd just be part of the package, and I'm just kind of transmitting with the state.
So we're not taking any responsibility for anything?
Right now, no.
We're not
You're just supporting
swearing
that we
in.
come up with a
just
process to flag
supporting
APR
the-
land.
So how would you like the motion to say?
The Agricultural Commission is in support of the town of Dudley establishing an APR land certification as part of the permitting process.
Okay, does anybody else have anything else to say?
Did you get that written down?
I'm going to.
Repeat it for one more time.
Yep.
Well, I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion that the Dudley Agricultural Commission would like to administer our support to the Board of Selectmen for the Town of Dudley APR land certification requirement for all permitting of Dudley land.
Yeah.
I'll second.
Is that reasonable?
yeah, it's broad enough. It's, doesn't have to be exact, you know, it will allow us to do what we need to do with the Board of Selectmen and the town administrator next.
I'm just giving it a chance.
Yep.
Okay.
You want to read it?
No.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. Before we have any other discussion, maybe you could,
Well, we can add more discussion if anybody wants to, I guess.
after you second, we can,
You can have more discussion,
Yeah.
yes.
any other discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
unanimous? Okay.
Beautiful. And then what I'll do is I'll take this, I'll try to get on the selectmen's agenda, and when I go to the selectmen, I'm just gonna say, you know, the Ag Commission, you know, will trust your judgment in establishing the process, figure out how to work it, what the state needs, and leave it up to them to kind of finalize the details, and that's when they'll engage
Yeah,
town
however-
council and everybody
Well,
else.
so will this have to go to town meeting for a vote? No?
No, because it's not a bylaw change, it's a process change.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
If there was resistance, which I don't see, no reasonable person could, but if there was, then we could try to do a bylaw, but that's gonna be totally unnecessary.
Okay,
on
I
this.
agree.
This is a win-win for everybody. It's free money from the state, and what we have to do is include a form with the permits saying whether or not it's APR land or
Oh,
not.
then it also cuts back the town's responsibility if they choose to come up with the other, instead of 10%, they come up with 5%.
Yeah, and that's just it. So, you know, now, you know, I'll reach out to that Michelle from MDAR and see if they can send someone down to actually really go in depth about the APR program. And we'll work around their schedule, I'll tell them.
Yeah, what we would actually like is an actual presentation, not just us asking questions, but also for an audience to be able to ask questions.
Similar to what LaGrange did with the Angobi thing the other day.
Right,
All right,
yeah.
all right,
Michelle's pretty good.
okay.
Yeah, she's pretty good. I'm sure she'll come down.
And whenever she'd be available,
Okay,
you know, we meet the second Thursday, first Thursday of every month.
yeah, and for the particular pieces that are, you know, that's in play now and could be, you're probably still talking, because of the whole regulatory approval, and probably a year and a half away. And that's why I was thinking it'd be good at the town meetings, when they open up the warrant, the next warrant, for the Ag Commission to maybe sponsor an article saying, put $5,000 into an APR land bank. You know, when they do the warrant articles. Or we can do a citizen petition, but if the Ag Commission actually sponsors the article, you'd have a lot more juice than just a citizen petition. And again, maybe we never use it for 20 years, but you have $100,000 in there 20 years from now for something that may come up. And we're always talking about looking for water sources, right? I mean, there's some farmland that's out there that some pretty good water sources, so is there a way to incorporate the water source with the APR land? Begin planning for that now. So, thank you for your time, as always.
Thank
John.
you for
Thanks,
all
John.
your work, and especially on the town website and everything.
All right.
Thanks, John.
Okay, thanks, guys.
So next on the agenda is goals logo discussion.
Logo, I guess we're pretty much set
Okay.
because he's
Okay.
using it on the website.
Yeah.
John's using it on the website, and we've got the letterhead out there if anybody wants to use it.
Good,
So that's pretty much, we're
okay.
done with that.
And you could actually bring those papers up now
Oh, okay,
as a goal. In
okay.
other words, Linda showed me some things before the meeting here that are pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
I get the email from the Mass Farm Bureau Association, and I just happened to pull it up just before the meeting. And there's a bunch of information in here. One of the things, it's about, will FDA warnings on CBD products clear up confusion? And it goes through the whole article. I haven't read it fully, but it's pretty informative about the CBD usage and stuff. And then there's also, they also are showing like training courses that they have available for farmers, if anybody's interested in putting going to those. What I could do is put it on our Facebook page too. I can update like the courses and stuff. And they're also advertising for the professional bull riding up in Manchester, New Hampshire. And then they have also an agricultural calendar with upcoming events that is going to be happening. A lot of them right now have already gone by on their calendar, but there's still a few if people are interested in attending, like the New England Vegetable and Fruit Conference at the Radisson Hotel in Manchester, New Hampshire. That's the 10th and the 12th of December. And they have other different, courses and stuff too that are offered. And one other thing too is if we do, I don't know if you want me to.
So, excuse me, that could be put on the website with the link, is that what
I
you
can
mean?
put a link to this email that I get from the Mass
I
Department.
think the more information we can put out there for people to
I can
see.
put out, like, highlight certain programs that are coming up, like the one that I just said at the Radisson. I don't know if there's any fees for these, which I'm sure there probably are some entrance fees,
Yeah.
but it doesn't say it in here, so it just gives a person's contact name if you are interested.
No, I
But
think
there's
one of
a
our goals
lot of.
should be to get as much
Yeah,
information
there is a
out
lot of
there.
information in there. And it's not just pertaining to, like, what's around here. They also have stuff about cranberry bogs and solar farms, so, I mean, it's pretty informative. And they come out, like, every week, every other week. I'll get a notice from them.
It's weekly?
I think it's weekly. But I can start putting stuff
Yep,
like
thank
that
you.
on there for you. So,
And did you get MDRs too,
yes, I think I do.
from Rachel Blank?
Yes,
Because they have a lot, sometimes this stuff overlaps, but they have a lot of
Yeah.
other stuff too.
yeah, I get his too, because I'm a member of that. And do you want to go over this now, or?
Sure,
New
I
business.
think this is part of goals that we should be doing.
Okay, one other thing that the Farm Bureau had is some good ideas for when we do like the next farmer's market for kids. And it's like a little scavenger hunt. It's like fill your plate with different fruits and vegetables, and then there's like another page that is the actual scavenger hunt, where you fill it out. Like if you find one food you have never tried before that's in the farmer's market, find something round, foods that you don't like, and then once they're done filling this out, they can hand it into a farmer and we can have like some little prizes and give out to the little kids. So I thought that would be a good idea for the next one that we do. There's like fill a bag, and then there's also some fun facts about farms in Massachusetts that they have included in this. So then there's also another one that they had, and it's free for us to use at farmers markets and different events that we're planning on having. It's another scavenger hunt, and then there's like animal matching that you can go through, and the little kids can fill it out, what's a sheep, what's a goat, and so I thought that was kind of cute to add into like our next event, which now segues into
Our next event,
our next event.
which is?
Good question. We were talking about at our last meeting. I think June came up, but that was a little bit early for vegetables, we thought. So actually Linda had an idea that
Yep. St. Andrews has their festival the third weekend, I think it is, in August. It's usually the same weekend as the Brooklyn Fair. If we tie into when they have the festival, because all the people will be going over there. I spoke with Michelle about getting a part of the parking lot, if that would be possible, and she said definitely. We could rope off a part of that just for the farmers to have our own little farmer's market if we get enough vendors. And how big a space would depend on how many people we would get. There is some electrical outlets out there in case you need to plug in a generator, or, you know, to plug in your refrigeration so you don't have to have a generator. So that might be looked into if we really need that. So that was my suggestion, is to piggyback off of the festival. And this is on
Usually
town
the
property.
The third weekend?
It's usually the third weekend of August. Because Labor Day's late this year, it's September 7th.
Can't get any later.
So, no. So, that was just a suggestion.
Because we said we'd
We
like
have
to
to,
have.
we have to
a-
make sure they have it in the festival next year.
Yeah, as long as they're having
Right,
it.
exactly. 'Cause I think it gets harder and harder for them to have it every year.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have a hard time finding people to work, and so. I don't know when they decide, officially make a decision as to whether they're gonna have it or not.
Yeah, so we could get it on calendars.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But at least that would, you know, give us another day besides the Strawberry Festival too, to consider, if we want to do something like that, and then just do the apple one again, like we did last year.
I think we need to have it in
this
conjunction
year,
with
rather.
something else.
Yeah,
Flexible.
and this way, it's
You could
right
try
here.
this, huh?
It's right out here too, gonna get all that traffic on West Main Street too, versus being up at the town common where it's just people that actually have to go
Intentionally
that
come.
way.
Right. Yeah.
So, could you find out what that date is?
Yeah, I can check on it.
And,
Or when they anticipate committing.
right.
Okay.
So instead of making a decision tonight, we should find that out first.
Right.
But certainly we can.
The health
Keep
thing's
that in
always
mind.
been an issue every year.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know a lot of the people down there, that it's getting worse and worse, so.
Mm-hmm.
But I think August would be a good month.
Mm-hmm. Vegetable wise and all that.
Yep. Okay. And when you find that out,
Yes,
we'll
sir.
have to put it, I guess, on the agenda next meeting to actually nail it down.
Okay.
You gave a report already on the right to farm signs. You
Right,
have
yeah.
anything new?
No, well, we gotta find somebody to find the money to get them done.
That's what we need to find out.
Right, 'cause.
Same thing with the banners.
Same
We
thing
need-
with the banner.
we
Be
need
great
money.
to have a banner down here, you know,
Oh, yeah.
next time.
Right,
Yeah.
you know, like I said, I found two by three signs for $55 each, and I don't think you're gonna find a better price than that. That's with the graphics and everything already done on it, so, I don't know, maybe we'll, write an article for the May, annual meeting and see what happens,
I think that's a good suggestion.
yeah.
How many do we need?
Well, I 5 would fill out like all the roads. So you have West Main Street, over here, Quinnebog, 31, Schofield Ave, and Dudley Oxford Road, so that would be 5. And the guy said, you can, out of one sheet of the material that we were gonna use, you can get 5 signs out of, yeah, so there'd be no waste, so it would work out perfect for them. too.
How soon do we have to do something to get it on?
The warrant?
I
No.
wondered about that too.
Oh, that's gonna be
It's
the
May,
warrant.
right?
May, so, they don't open the warrant maybe till March or April or
Okay.
something like that. So
Yeah,
we
that's
still
a
got
good
we've got plenty of time for that.
Any open discussion or new business?
I only have one thing, I just wanted to give a shout out to Roger Reservi and his book, Dairy Farms, Dairies, and Milk Bottles of Dudley, Massachusetts. Have you guys seen this yet?
No.
It just came out, and it's all about all the farms, past and present, and the
Wow.
people that
That's
owned them
beautiful.
and ran them. And you know, if it was a dairy farm, he showed pictures of all the milk bottles that they used to use, and it's pretty cool. So I just wanted to give him a shout out. You can get this book. You can contact Roger Meservey. I don't want to give his phone number or anything out over the airwaves here, but I'm sure you'll hear about it coming up.
Is there a
Actually,
website
you'll
or
get a picture. There's a
something?
picture of your place there. There's a
Really?
picture of Victor's in there also.
Well, every farm used to peddle their own milk.
It's really something. Do you know how much it is?
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
I definitely need one. Okay, so anything else? Now we have to decide what we're gonna do with next meeting, which is the 2nd of January. Try for a different date or just
The following.
cancel it?
It's up to you. Whatever everybody else wants to do is fine with me.
Do you think we need to have one, or we can take a month? Unless something comes up.
Yeah,
I don't know.
because we don't have
We'll-
anything else scheduled, really.
At some
right
point,
now.
we've gotta let them know when we cancel it.
Right.
so.
Yeah,
I mean, the only thing would be if somebody like from the APR says, oh, I wanna come to your
yeah,
January
or,
meeting.
or if the planner, if her shoulder's better by
Oh,
then.
that's right, because she wanted to come to a different meeting.
Yeah,
The,
What was she gonna talk about? Central Mass
she
Regional.
had,
Plan.
yeah, Central Mass Regional Planning Commission. It was, discussion of regional planning.
Agricultural plan.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, open to suggestions or motions.
Oh, I say I'll say we'll skip the next meeting for the holidays, and if somebody, we'll just try and reschedule everything for after that, February.
Right.
Yeah,
March.
the
And then
meeting.
pick
So our
everything
next
back up.
meeting, then, we will cancel the,
January.
January 2nd meeting. Do you get notice on that? And,
Pick up in
get my
February.
calendar here. So our next meeting would be,
I just got this today, so I really didn't
February,
look through it that good.
looks like the 6th is the first Thursday, February 6th.
Okay.
2020.
And I'll let Deb know too. I'll let Deb know, because she
Yes.
has to
Yeah.
file the paperwork. I don't know if she's done anything for next year.
Are
So,
you, and you're going to find out, let us know when you find out between now and
Mhm.
February about the,
oh, yeah. Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I'll definitely, I'll shoot you guys an email and let you know.
I guess if there's nothing
So,
else,
Victor's.
entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.